Take one part, blink twice. And don't worry, darling, my love. Early on, Ariel Lecton says, I am open, I will take advice. Opus is the latest from A24 and writer-director Mark Anthony Green in his feature credit. And I am open, I will take advice. I'm going to apply that line to Mark Anthony Green. If this is the best you can do for your feature credit, and everybody's got to start somewhere, James Cameron started with a Piranha movie, no less, and plenty of other people have started low and worked their way up. But if this is the best you can do with A24's marketing and backing, you need to find something else to do, because my goddamn goodness, one part of the menu, one part of Don't Worry Darling, one part of Blink Twice, and actually nothing good from the menu. Just the bad parts of the menu, and there wasn't that much bad in the menu. Just Don't Worry Darling, Blink Twice, and other stuff about psychological horror and pop culture and social commentary and cultist stuff, human centipede together and presented to you in this burgoo of bullshit. Am I indicating how I felt about Opus? Oh, I fucking hated it. 1,000%. And I love A24 movies, but between The Front Room and this, I'm starting to wonder if A24 is exactly bulletproof. They're starting to become about as bulletproof as Dino Bravo on March 10th, 1993. That being said, look, I'm trying to not be as mean-spirited, but when a movie is this apocalyptically bad, so goddamn bereft of any originality or anything new to say or anything even halfway funny to say, no dark comedy, a complete waste of its talent. Ayo Edeburi is sleepwalking through this goddamn thing. I think everybody's sleepwalking through this goddamn thing. John Malkovich is a pop star, a glam pop star. You couldn't lean into that. He's done plenty of silly roles. He's had plenty of fun. He's done some damn bad roles. But my goddamn goodness, you had maybe not a bulletproof concept, but something you could have had fun with. I saw the early reviews for this from critics and audiences. I was like, you know what? It can't be that bad. It can't. I saw the trailer, and if you've seen the trailer, you know exactly what this movie's going to be. If you have even a halfway attached brainstem, or you had one coming out of the womb and it detached, you still can figure out where this goddamn movie is going. It's an hour and 43 minutes long. It's simultaneously rushed and so goddamn packed with stuff, yet it's also empty. That is impressive. That is an impressive three-headed Hydra as opposed to a four-headed Hydra. I am stunned by just how bad this is. Juliette Lewis is in this. That scene from Cape Fear, the remake, still haunts me. You know what I'm talking about. And Amber Midthunder's in this. Go watch Novocaine. She's in that. She's in a much better movie than this, because Opus does not deserve to be seen in theaters. Watch it on streaming. You can pause it constantly and think, wow, I literally could be doing anything else, or maybe I need to end up like some of the people at the end of this movie. Now, I know that sounds mean and that's a bit of a spoiler, but trust me, spoiling this movie will not haunt you at all. Here's basically the spoiler-free premise. You have a writer named Ariel who wants to do better than fluff pieces for a newspaper thing. She gets offered from her boss, Stan, after Alfred Moretti, who is a glam pop star, receded from fame sometime in the 90s. He has come back. He has a secluded compound, wants put on a private performance. They get there. They have to give their cell phones. They have an attaché straight out of the Collision in Korea Dark Side of the Ring episode. If you get it, you get it. Amber Midthunder is tasked with following Ayo Edeburi around. Who wouldn't want Amber Midthunder to follow them around? Yes, maybe I will confess my love for Amber Midthunder one day. Shut up. But that seemed like something that might be decent. But nope, we can't sink our teeth into that. Juliette Lewis, I don't know what in the world's going on with her. I don't know why in the world everybody just seemed like they were in a soma coma watching this or acting in this. There were 3 other people in the showing that I was in. I swear to God, I think they fell asleep. And that's saying something, because the movie really shouldn't have kept you awake after the first few minutes. We show static shots of people in a vacuum while Alfred Moretti performs. And again, the concept of John Malkovich being a glam pop star should have worked. It should have absolutely led to some funny moments. It doesn't. It doesn't lead to anything except, wow, this is a lot of wasted potential. And speaking of wasted, I think everybody in this movie was wasted, because there is no other reason for why the acting from some of these talented people was so goddamn bad. and why so much of this was padded, yet rushed, and crammed, yet empty. What the fuck, A24? Why in the world did you think releasing this was a good idea? You should have made a deal with a streaming service and put this just for a few $1,000,000 there, because I cannot imagine this movie cost a whole lot of money, because I can't imagine it's going to make a lot of money. It's being released in March. If it makes $10 million, I will be amazed. And I'm going to say right now that goddamn music is not very good. You have Dina Simone, and you have My Love, and then you have the latest album, Caesar's Request. And from there, you basically just have, you just have characters doing stuff and acting culty and stuff like that until things eventually happen, but even by the time things happen, you don't care, and stuff coming out of nowhere and happening isn't the worst thing in the world, but stuff just occurs. Stuff just occurs, violence just occurs, which, yes, you're in the middle of nowhere, it's all that stuff, weird stuff going on. This isn't necessarily a spoiler, but again, when you have to give up your cell phone to go somewhere, maybe you shouldn't go there. I mean, I don't know, I'm just built different, I guess. And yes, a psychological horror 101. You want to make sure that you make your characters as silly and stupid as possible. But to be perfectly honest, the fact that everybody just willingly gave their goddamn cell phone to this person and was like, okay, yeah, this is okay. Wait, this is a little weird. Oh, his performance is not that bad. He still has it. No, he doesn't. Did he ever fucking have it? Did anybody, involved in this movie have any idea how to do a script rewrite? Or write the script at first? I mean, I began to think this might have been written by AI, because there is no reason for why dialogue like this is so goddamn bad and putrid and bland, and it has a false ending that leads to more tacked on bullshit. Again, this is under 2 hours and feels like it's an hour longer. It's in theaters if you want to check it out. I'm going to get into spoilers, which may take a bit, may not take a bit. I don't know. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, basically, it turns out that Alfred is all into this religion called levels. So basically, it's like Scientology, it's like Jim Jones, it's like Charles Manson, like almost Heaven's Gate, whatever you want to go with. Taylor Swift, I kid. The Taylor Swift fans are more violent than this. I kid, of course. Taylor Swift fans are awesome. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me, fam, I say at 44 years old. Anyway, Ariel talks to a friend of hers. She wants to write better pieces. She gets this she gets this offer to go to this particular thing. We hear the Dina Simone, and I'm sorry, but just what? Like, I'm trying to, get into this music. I'm trying to, see what the movie's trying to say. And it's just scenes that try to have a cohesive narrative, but really don't. They just are almost in a vacuum on their own. And yeah, maybe it's supposed to be like a dreamlike sequence. Maybe they're being drugged and they're seeing all this stuff. Maybe it's not in their head. There's this one character that played by Stephanie Suganami, I believe is her name. Gorgeous woman, by the way, I do want to say. And she is very statuesque. But anyway, she's in this, and she, at one point has an illness that befalls her. There's another guy that's getting a massage in his room, and then before this, and gets killed, and, gets, measured out and then cut and everything and stuff like that. There's talk about this character, Bill, that wrote a bad article about Moretti, that he stuffed his pet Doberman after he died. Hopefully after he died, because otherwise that'd be a big no-no. And all these people seem to be there for a reason. Now, it turns out that the reason Ariel is there is Ariel needs to basically tell the story. Stan wanted to take credit for the story. Stan gets hit with an arrow at one point. There's this little girl that wanted Ariel to be there and witness this puppet show and witness all this stuff. And basically, after all this violence happens, after all this ridiculous stuff happens, there's this one performance where he's... John Malkovich is doing this thing. He's almost dressed up like freaking, let's see, like Michael Jackson in Remember the Time almost. That's actually kind of what it was. I believe it was Remember the Time. And, he's dressed up like that. He's doing some weird suggestive stuff with Juliette Lewis, whatever. And that's when Stephanie Suganami's character falls ill. Now, I do have to say, Ao looked great in that yellow dress, with respect. Talented. Loved her in Bottoms, loved her in Theater Camp. And she was also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, which if anybody in particular is watching this spoiler section, they are going to quote a certain line that is going to lead to an inside joke between me and one person. They know what it's about. But hey, look great. There are points where, it seems like the movie's trying to do something, even though, again, blink twice. This is basically just blink twice. That's basically what it is, just without the Black Christmas 2019 beat you over the goddamn head with the feminist twist stuff, which I don't mind women standing up for themselves, just the way Blink Twice and Black Christmas 2019 did. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't tell it in a good way. Everybody's a caricature, and everybody's a caricature in this, despite having no character of their own. Ariel doesn't even have much of a character. She is taking notes, and then they refer to the notes a little bit later on. Amber Midthunder at one point follows her on a jog. Again, there are worse things to have in your life than Amber Midthunder following you around. But she notices at one point, Ariel does that all the cell phones are damaged. This is after people have been, seemingly gone missing. Stephanie's character is just totally disappeared after she had a seemingly allergic reaction of some variety. And Ariel wants to leave. And Alfred says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the bus. By the way, they had to take a bus 4 hours and 8 minutes into the middle of nowhere. Montana, Wyoming. Wyoming is my guess based on the vegetation and the fact that the wildlife is there. I don't know necessarily. But that being said, they're going to take her out. But the little girl wanted her to see the goddamn puppet show. So the puppet show, by the way, this is after Ao had found a whole bunch of skinned animals and one guy that was dead, the guy that was measured and cut up a little bit earlier. I don't know what his character name was. I don't really give a shit. But the puppet show is a tragedy of it's a tragedy of somebody. I don't actually remember. I don't really give a shit. It's a tragedy of some pop star. And there's these skinned rats, and then this one marionette of a character, and a pop star that had basically suffered addiction, suffered the price of fame and everything, and was basically picked on and all that stuff. And that's how Alfred felt. And oh yes, there's also this publicist, I guess, or lawyer named Yosef. So there's another guy, Jorg, that was that actor's fine. He just weren't given much of a chance to do anything, but he was the one that had put out the message earlier that Moretti was going to have this comeback. So, puppet show goes on, and Ariel notices something weird about her beanbag chair. It's moving. Well, Stephanie's character's in there and all puffed up and all that stuff, and ends up oozing and squirting on Alfred, and he freaks out and stuff like that. And then Ao takes this opportunity to dive out the goddamn window and try and race away. But she races away to this house on this compound because it's actually a pretty lavish amount of acreage. She tries to call. She can't get a hold of anybody. Amber Midthunder then somehow manages to scale the goddamn wall while Ao's hiding in a bathtub, chokes her out, and seemingly gets rid of her. Except she doesn't get rid of her. Because then the other people are basically all, tied down and stuff like that. Ariel somehow has, a knife or whatever to cut herself out. She manages to cut herself out, knock over these hot coals, and they burn Alfred just enough so everybody's focused on him. She races away on this ATV. Amber Midthunder races after her. Ariel scales the goddamn fence, cuts her hand, sees this one guy that was part of these worshipers, these people waiting outside the compound. It's almost as isolated as the Gorge in George Washington, which, yes, is the actual name of a city. It's more of a town, more of a hamlet, more of nothing out there. At least that's the last time I was out there. But the whole thing is she manages to escape. And then 2 years later, she's the only one that survived. She's talking to her friends. She's doing interviews. She's doing books. And things are going great. But then she gets an offer from the lawyer of Moretti to go interview him. And basically the idea is, I guess, because of Caesar's request and what Caesar ended up doing to his kidnappers and all that and stuff, He wanted his story to be told because of something attempting to spout philosophical knowledge. And it wasn't good. And it wasn't good at all. And it was basically just a way to send out his message, and he used her as a vessel because she was uncorrupted and whatever. And all this, the stuff from about the point where she dives out the window and to that point is about 20 minutes. Maybe 23. I don't even know if it's that long. And it's actually astonishing how much they try to pack into this, but how empty it feels. And there you go. It's a way to get the message out. Oh, yes, by the way, not all the cultists are dead, just some of them. Because there are some that are out there to spread the message. Because why not? I guess it's a social commentary on how, obsession with fame, with famous people can lead you to be poisoned. If it is, it's not a good one. It gets an F. Opus gets an F. Opus is fucking terrible. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rutland. I'll see you soon.